I don't think we do enough of reimagining how things would have turned out had certain decisions been made a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if Malcolm would have been told, Baba, when he was backstage, that there's some haters sitting out there in the audience,
mm-hmm.
does Malcolm still go out there? I'm not sure that he does. I mean, look at that, Baba. Just simply telling him you got enemies out there could have changed the trajectory of history. You know, what about if Jesse Jackson never calls off the community guard that was there to protect Dr. King on April 4th at the Divine Lorraine Hotel? Or what if they never moved Dr. King's room from the bottom level to the second floor so the FBI assassins could get a better shot? How would history, have turned out? What if George Jackson would have escaped out of that prison before he got shot in his head on August 21st, 1971? I just look at what if Marcus Garvey would have made it to Africa. Mm-hmm. We have to imagine that sometimes so we can, it's not about dreaming, but it's about making sure we understand the importance of decisions. The importance of decisions and how they impact destiny and how they impact millennium. Just a small little decision can make the difference between life and death, the difference between liberation and the lack thereof. Just the smallest of decisions. What if Robert Sobukwe would have ended up being the preeminent leader in South Africa versus Nelson Mandela, mm-hmm. with Sobukwe's unapologetically African stance on things? It's amazing, to imagine what would have happened, had these things taken place.
And sometimes, when as you say that, I'm thinking about how I used to say to myself that with all of the planets and stars out here in the universe, that it has to be something else like us somewhere else in the universe. And then I would say, well, what if, we are born again every day, and every day we wake up on one of these different planets, and we have an opportunity to go either this way or that way. We can either go right or we could go left. And depending upon what decisions you make determines what planet you wind up on, which determines your outcome.
Absolutely. And in African spirituality, and of course I am a IFA practitioner, which is the system practiced by the Yoruba nation of Nigeria. But in IFA, we believe that you negotiate your destiny in heaven before you reincarnate, and you choose your destiny. You choose your ori. You choose your consciousness, your personality, and you choose your destiny in heaven. And through the birthing chamber, through the birthing process, Baba, the trauma of birth, through that process, we lose the knowledge of what that destiny was that we negotiated with the Almighty. And so the purpose of ancestral veneration, the purpose of divination, of the purpose of meditation, is to try to remember what your destiny was, mm-hmm. and to find and fulfill it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. To fulfill your purpose.
I totally believe in that. I totally believe in that because everybody who was meant to be on this planet is here, including white folks. And I say this to black folks all the time. I say, you got to understand something. In African culture, every positive has its negative. There is no positive without its negative, and there is no negative without a positive. Mm-hmm. They are not opposites. Positive and negative, light and dark, cold and heat, mm-hmm. they work together in the fulfillment of our destiny, mm-hmm. which is why they say whenever you're doing really, really good, you have to be careful, because the extent of your blessing can also be the extent of your downfall. Mm. So when you're most successful, you have to be the most guarded, Baba. And when you look at a lot of us, a lot of us fell from grace when we were in an excellent position because of bad decisions, and not watching for that negative energy that is right around the corner from the positive energy. So for us, it's not about good or bad. It's about balance. Mm-hmm. It's about the balance of positivity and negativity. You can never have one without the other.
Yep, yin and yang.
Yin and yang. But I want to say this, Baba. I'm very, very proud at the Nigerian government for a move that they made a couple days ago, Baba. They have made it illegal for models who are not indigenous to Nigeria to be advertised on their television and radio stations. You have to be an indigenous Nigerian. And statistically, 60% of the models in Nigeria up until now, Baba, have either been white or they look white. White looks for white. And so now, with this move right here, which I think is a very bold, unapologetically African move, they're going to give a lot of beautiful black women of every complexion, our chocolate sisters, our brown-skinned sisters, they're going to get a chance to show their beauty now that they're going to cut out the white folk. I think that was a very, very powerful move, and I applaud Nigeria for going in the right direction. I actually got invited to come to Nigeria soon, so within the span of a week, I got invited to Nigeria, Brazil, and Uganda. I'll be speaking at
Wait a minute, Uganda, that's where they found all that gold at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get some of that gold. Shoot. Get some of that gold and bring it back to the school.
Absolutely. I'm going to try to do that. But that's November 3rd, Kampala International University.
Tell them you want to build a gold room in the name of Uganda.
That'd be powerful. That'd be powerful. I also want to plant a tree, Bob. I want to plant at least one tree from every African country on FDMG campus. You know, we got a lot of greenery. It's not a whole bunch, but we definitely have enough greenery to plant a tree. I want a tree from every African country on our campus.
And, you know, I really appreciate what they're doing in Nigeria as well with the imagery, because they also say that they want to do that in hopes of discouraging the women from trying to bleach their skin, because too many women in Africa be trying to bleach their skin to try to look white, and so this way, if they know that they don't have to be white, then maybe they won't bleach their skin.
Absolutely. You know, opportunities dictate behavior. And once our African brothers and sisters know they don't have to imitate the European to get an opportunity, you know, we're going to see a lot more renaissance, return, and glory of the black skin. We have to show the glory of the black skin. For far too long, we've been imitating Europeans. And as you know, cultural death precedes economic and political death.
Would it be permissible to accept donations from Uganda in a form of cash or a contribution towards the school?
Absolutely, Baba. We already receive a lot of donations from the African diaspora by way of PayPal, because PayPal is global.
Yes.
And I would argue, Baba, I would have to add it up, but I would argue that the African diaspora donates as much to FDMG as American Africans do.
Wow.
And and I'm going to have to one day I'm going to have somebody go through it and take a look at it all, but it might be a 50-50 split, Bob. Now, of course, you're talking about 50 million American Africans compared to everybody else in the world, but yet and still, that's significant to be able to say that brothers and sisters in Africa and Australia and Europe and the Caribbean and South America donate to our school as much, because a lot of us who are not Pan-Africanists, and even those of us who are Pan-Africanists, I don't think people really understand the sacrifice that people have made for FDMG, and I don't think people really understand how many Africans around the world, Baba, are praying and pushing for this school to work, because it's not going to solve every problem. It's, you know, it's not a panacea. But to just be an independent black institution that's going to teach what we need to teach unapologetically, that is not funded by the government, not funded by white bankers, not funded by white philanthropists, to see that is going to be a very, very motivational platform that I think will inspire a lot of our people to believe in ourselves again towards building more independently black institutions. Because a lot of our institutions, Baba, when you look at them closely, depending on your definition of what independence is. And independent for me means there's no white membership and there's no white money coming in. That's what independence to me means. Full independence. But when you look at a lot of our institutions, Bob, a lot of them are not fully independent.
Well, you know, you talk about the participation of Africa. Well, you know, you're very famous in Africa. In fact, you know, Patrick and Jadu, our co-hosts here for our Afrobeat after party, he's from Ghana. And when he started doing the show, and when he found out that you were a participant and a contributor to this show with your first of the month participation, he says, "What? DrUmarJohnson on the show?" He was so delighted. He could not believe it. He says, it was like you was Oprah Winfrey to him.
I'll give you a story, Baba. I'll give you a story. This was probably, I don't think it was 2019. It might have been 2017. But we were at, was it Cape Coast Castle or Elmina in Ghana for the walk at night? We do the reverential walk to the ancestors. I believe it's Cape Coast Castle. And so when we got to the castle, Baba Smalls was there, Baba Jeffries was there as well on the trip. And so it was my time to speak. And the youth didn't, they might have knew I was coming, but I'm not sure. And so I spoke. And right after I spoke, I had to go to the restroom, I think it was. And so I cut to the side, Baba, in the slave dungeon to go to the restroom, but there were still other speakers left. And by the time I got around that corner inside the slave dungeon, all the youth, they just kind of rushed me, you know, in a show of love and support.
That's right.
Can I take a picture? So
That's
obviously,
right.
I don't come here that often. Let me stop and take pictures with my young brothers and sisters. And I started doing that, and somebody circulated the rumor, Baba, 2017. Somebody circulated the rumor that I disrupted the program at the slave dungeon that night. It went out that I intentionally did.
Wow.
I didn't do it intentionally. I went to the side to go to the restroom. I didn't know all the...
You were going to take the whole audience with you.
Exactly. And they accused me of... I was accused of sabotaging or distracting from the program, which was not true. And to be honest with you, Baba, in all humility, why would you put DR.UMAR early in a program? Why would you do that? You know, because I'm so popular amongst our people that when I'm done speaking, they're going to rush you. So you should have put me later in the program. It was bad planning. It was bad planning. You know, you cannot do that. It's like if I'm at a lecture and I'm the first speaker, and we have other great speakers. Don't get me wrong, but my popularity eclipses most scholars.
That's right. That's right.
I eclipse them. It's just a reality.
That is true.
I'm going to get more attention than them. So you don't put me early, because the minute I'm done, they're going to follow me out. And Baba, this has happened several times.
I'm sure.
When I look back, you know, and I'm just like, why did y'all put me first, y'all? And then they try to stop me from interacting with the people. I can't do that. I'm done speaking.
Yeah.
They need their book signed. Some people, I should have been later in the program. Respect the power of the public speaker. You know,
That's
you got to
right.
do things the right way. But sometimes people want to slight you because they don't like you, whatever the case may be. And it's going to sabotage your event because I'm the people's champ, and that's just the way it goes.
That's right. They say don't put him on first, because he'll steal the whole audience. The whole audience will be on the left.
Baba, I remember I spoke at African Liberation Day, and I'm going back now. I'm going back to my early UNIA days. I spoke at African Liberation Day in D.C. This was probably 2003, 2004. So we talking, almost 20 years ago. And it was put on by the socialists. One of the brothers is an ancestor now. Rest in peace to him. And, you know, between the Pan-African Socialists and the Pan-African Nationalists, we have some discrepancies because, number one, they don't attack white supremacy. They attack capitalism, which means it's okay for them to sleep with white girls. And we take issues with that. So a lot of black socialists, you know, they sleep with the white girls. But anyway, it was time for me to speak, Baba. I was like the last speaker. Don't you know the socialists, this was in one of the parks in D.C. It was African Liberation Day, as a matter of fact. It was African Liberation Day. And I got up on the stage to speak, and soon when I grabbed the microphone, they cut the speakers off.
Wow.
I'll never forget. But let me tell you what happened. You know, what they say, men plan, but God plans.
That's right. That's right.
When they cut the mic, that forced the crowd to come up to the stage, Baba. And I was able to still give the speech without the mic. And it actually ended up being better because it forced everybody to come closer. But they thought they were sabotaging me, but it actually worked to my benefit. I'm telling you, Baba, I could do a whole book on how oratory, or at least my oratorical skill, has played a role in my ascendancy, as well as in the plethora of haters that I have, because it's probably the most undisputable skill that I got. I'm not the best, you understand, but I'm very, very successful at it, and I have seen how people have tried to sabotage me because of my oratorical skill. One of the biggest things they do, Baba, to sabotage is they cut my speaking time. That's probably the biggest thing they do. Like, I'll go somewhere, even elders too, I ain't gonna call no names, they get a little jealous too, and I'm supposed to speak for 30 minutes and they'll cut me to 5. Or I'm supposed to speak for 60 minutes, they'll cut me to 20. And I'm like, wait a minute, you have me waiting all night. The people want to hear me. How we go from 60 to 20? How we go from 30 to 10? Because they know the reaction and they don't want to see it, so they cut my speaking time.
Then why invite you in the first place then?
because they need me to pull the crowd.
That's right. That's right. A crowd to draw the crowd.
Hear his voice.
That's right. You have a crowd draw. You draw the people in, and the reason, not the reason why, but one of the reasons is because they see you on Facebook, they see you on TikTok. They see you and they love what you're saying. They love.
Man, I got the youth, Baba. I got the youth. I just got to organize. I got the youth. I got them. I don't care what country you name.
Were you out here when they had the Million Youth March with Dr. Khalid Muhammad?
Nah, I think I was in graduate school. Wasn't that, what was that, 2000 and...
I don't know the year. It was in Harlem, New York, though.
I came out of my first graduate school in 2000.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that was, it might have been in my early school district of Philadelphia psychologist days, but I didn't make it, though, because Dr. Khalid passed in 01, I believe. 2000 or 2001, I think he passed on.
I don't know if it was that long ago. But yeah, I remember because I was there at the. I was there at the Million Youth March.
I definitely believe he was an ancestor before I went to Africa. I went to Africa for the first time in 05.
Because I was saying, you would have been the headliner if they were having a Million Youth March now today.
Baba, I always wish I could have met Dr. Khalid Abdul-Muhammad. I always wish I could have met Tupac Shakur.
When I was in Africa in Senegal with Reverend Sullivan.
2001. It was 2001 when he passed. February 17th, Dr. Khalid Abdul-Muhammad.
Okay. When I was in Senegal, West Africa, with Dr. Leon Sullivan one year with his African American Summit, and Dr. Khalid Muhammad was there, and he stole the whole conference. Just like you said, every young person everywhere was following him around everywhere he went. They had a youth session, and the room was full. They didn't have too capacity. They had no more room. And everywhere he went, it was like the Pied Piper. And that's what you do when you're able to talk to young people, speak their language. They like what you're saying, because what they say, no cap.
No cap.
Yeah, they want to hear that.
And they love the ones who wrong. They love the ones who go and tell it how it needs to be told, no matter where they are.
Right.
Got to tell it how it needs to be told.
That's right.
And I think if Dr. Khalid, I was told, and of course this has to be verified, but I was told that Dr. Khalid was a member of the UNIA ACL in New York City, that he was a member of the Garvey movement. That's what I was told, which makes perfect sense, because when you listen to his message, it was very Pan-African. It was very Pan-African. It wasn't black nationalist, it was Pan-African nationalist, so it would have been interesting to see, how he could have moved had he joined the UNIA. I say the same thing about Malcolm. I wonder how history would have turned out had Malcolm or Khalid joined the UNIA. Not to take anything away from their previous organization, but where they were heading was more closely in alignment with the teachings of the Most Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, and I just wish they would have had an opportunity to experience leadership within the original black man's movement, which is the Garvey movement.
I consider them all to be intertwined, because I've gained from each of them myself. Each of these organizations I have benefited from. I am a part of all of them, or a part of me. Absolutely. When we talked about, the yin and the yang and opposites, so then when we were saying that, I said, well then, what do we expect white people to do except be opposite of us? That's why they oppose us so much. Absolutely. They are there to challenge us to realize our divine potential. That's it. And it is up to us to fail the test or pass the test. And right now, Baba, I would argue that we're failing the test, and I would argue that we are principally failing the test for three conditions. Number one, we are afraid of them. Number two, we glorify them and want to emulate them, which means we do deeply, many of us, consider them to be better than us, to have a greater value than us. We actually believe in white supremacy. Okay, so you have your fear, and then you have your admiration. And then the third piece is the self-hatred and lack of organizational willpower. We have very little organizational willpower. Mexicans have high organizational willpower. European Jews, Chinese, high organizational willpower. We probably have the lowest organizational willpower in the world. So it is our psychological hang-ups, our psychological
predicament. It is our Willie Lynch, our post-traumatic slavery disease that is keeping us locked in this oppressed reality because we refuse to wake up and recognize who we really are. To know thyself is at the heart of why African people fail right now. When it comes to black people, it's all about the individual. We might be concerned with our church. We might be concerned with our fraternity, sorority. We might be concerned about our Masonic Lodge or our professional association, but we are not concerned about the condition of the race. And we are the only people who do not have a serious concern about the condition of the race. We are a collection of competing individuals.
And I'm really concerned about our young women today. You know, they are becoming more and more decadent, you know, and just becoming more TikTokish.
Well, I would say the men too. You know, it goes both ways because and it's hard to say what came first, the chicken or the egg, because when you look at our decadent hip-hop community, all they glamorize is misogynistic behavior. You know, all they want to see is half-naked black women. And then it's almost to the point now, Baba, that it's not even about the misogyny against black women. You see a straight deflection away from black women. A lot of these videos don't even have a black woman in them anymore. You see all white girls and Chinese and Latino and this and that. And so hip-hop is gentrifying the black woman out of existence. You know, and again, going back to Nigeria's decision, I support it so much because we are seeing the black woman being gentrified out of existence. And when I say the black woman, I mean the traditional, self-respecting, fully clothed, natural, heterosexual black woman. She's being gentrified. And we see the black family is being gentrified because when you turn on the TV, most brothers are with another woman other than black. Most sisters are with another man other than black, or they're either trapped in a same-sex relationship. So gentrification, okay, is the pathway to annihilation. And if black people keep on gentrifying our community, gentrifying our family, gentrifying our men and our women, gentrifying our spiritual systems, you got white people initiated into voodoo, white people initiated into Ifa, white people initiated into the Neteru science of ancient Kemet. We're gentrifying every damn thing we own because we are thirsty for European validation. That thirst for European validation is a psychological disease that is going to destroy African people if we don't give it up, and it's being incubated and perpetuated in large part by black religious associations. Not just Christianity. Islam is guilty of it as well. Not our brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam, but Sunni Orthodox Islam is guilty of practicing this colorblind religion. Black Christianity is guilty. The Jehovah's Witnesses are guilty. The Seventh-day Adventists are guilty of raising black children with a colorblind consciousness that does not serve them or the interests of their community. Our religion actually serves the agenda of the white power structure because there's no way you're serving God if you're not serving black people. And you're not serving black people if you're raising black children to be colorblind. Because the people who suffer from racism the most have to be conscious of it when they see it. We're getting geared up for the second annual FDMG Festival, which is going down this coming Saturday, just 6 days away, September the 10th. From 10 until 8 p.m., brothers and sisters, please come on out. Bring the children. Food, games, giveaways, raffles, vendors, performers, networking, and the list goes on. And that's at 601 East 17th Street, 601 East 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware. People can get from Philly to... I took an Uber from Philadelphia to the school one time because I had to fly out and I had to return the rental. And I think the Uber might have been $50. Maybe 50. Might have been cheaper than that. So, you know, if you get a car full of folks, you know, hop in the Uber, divide it up.
There you go. That's, you know, they get one of them limousines, one of those small limousines.
Yeah. 60 minutes, 45 to 60 minutes. Philly's about 45 minutes. Here's what I say, Baba David. For the parents who understand how critically important for their sons to get this education, and of course later their daughters after a few years when we open up the Princess Academy, 60 minutes is nothing.
Not at all.
80 minutes is nothing, especially when you go back, Bob and David, to the pre-Brown versus Board of Education U.S. Supreme Court decision of May 17th, 1954. Prior to 54, a lot of our ancestors had to walk 2-3 hours to school.
Walk.
Some had to start in the day, yes, on foot for 2, 3, and 4 hours. So if you look at how black people sacrificed to educate their children before 1954, a 75-minute bus ride is nothing.
And I remember when I was a child, I used to walk about a mile to school and 2 miles back home.
Absolutely.
No, but that's I've been telling jokes all day. But anyhow, but to be honest, when you put your child on the school bus in the morning, by the time they make all those stops, picking up all them other children, that's about an hour's ride right there.
It's about an hour's ride right there. It's about an hour's ride right there. You know, so what I'm telling parents is, hey, you know, it's all up to you. But don't say you don't have an option or an alternative. You know, because you're too lazy to get up an extra hour, you know, or what have you. But that's another reason why, Bob and David, we will be looking to purchase some local properties when the school gets open. Mm-hmm. So boys who, you know, have to take, if they live 2 or 3 hours away, we want to be able to offer them some sort of shelter, some accommodation, you know, where they can, you know, stay in some of the homes in the area.
Some type of dormitory.
Exactly. And we're even going to look into an adopt-a-child program, you know, where after we do the child abuse clearance and, you know, criminal clearances on people, if they say, hey, I got an extra room in my house, you might have a elder couple, a baba and a mama, say, hey, Dr.UMAR, we got 2 empty rooms. We don't have a problem with 2 of your 3rd or 4th graders staying here Monday through Friday and going home for the weekend. So the bottom line, Bob and David, is community is the solution. If we want to find these boys a place to rest their head from Monday through Thursday, it's only 4 nights. Well, you say Sunday because they'll get their Sunday for Monday. So Sunday through Thursday, we can find that. I'm sure there's enough homes in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, and Delaware. Well, I don't think we'll have a problem, you know, being able to provide accommodations in a loving environment for about 50 or more of our young men until we have our own dormitory.
And that sounds so good about what you're doing, and it's so much needed in our community. I was just saying to myself today that some people are criticizing about the amount of time that it's taken, but I've been saying to myself that even however long it takes, we're still talking about it. And as long as we continue to talk about it, continue to build on it, however long it takes, then that's how long it takes. But at least we are having this conversation that is so needed. If you weren't having this conversation, who else would be talking about this?
Who else would be doing it, Bobby? Because the bottom line, the reason why we as black people don't have a lot of institutions is because they take time, they take work, they take sacrifice, they take money, you know, they take energy, you know, they take years. This has not been an easy undertaking at all. It is very, very stressful. It takes a lot of my resources, a lot of my time. But guess what? It's also very fulfilling. And that's what the liberation struggle is. Yeah, you go to jail. Yeah, you lose your job. Yeah, like you got to get rid of some of your friends, you know, white folks that try to sabotage you. But at the end of the day, it is very fulfilling. I don't think Malcolm would do anything different. I don't think King would take it back. I don't think Medgar or George Jackson or Fred Hampton or Harriet or Ida B. Wells or Fannie Lou, I don't think any of them take that back, Baba, because even though you earn your stripes and you take a lot of beatings in this work, the fulfillment, the people you help along the way is so fulfilling that it's worth the mark.
Yes, it is. It is. And the thing about it, we talk about these things that we need to be building institutions. We talk about the things that we need to have a stronger community. And then when somebody like you come out and puts the work in, it just amazes me how so many people could not be supportive of that. You know, I just don't understand. In fact, I was really glad to see that you recently obtained the HVAC system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's not installed yet, but we just signed a contract with a company, and it will be installed before Nat Turner's birthday on October the 2nd, which is only, less than 30 days because the day the 4th. So it'll definitely be installed within the next 29 days. And not just one, Baba, it'll be both. And once we get the unit put on the small gym, that HVAC system, we should be able to get approved by the city of Wilmington to start having programs. And once we get approved to be able to operate the gym, Baba David, you know, we're going to have a regular study group. We're going to have a shoot around for young black boys. We can play some basketball. We're going to feed you dinner, but you're going to sit down and get some of this black consciousness.
I hear you.
We're going to go back to the way Garvey did it, the way the Panthers did it. We're going to have a regular support for our single mothers. You know, we're going to have a program for our ex-offenders. So that gym can easily seat 200 people easily. You know, I don't know what they're going to, even if they only say we can do 100 in there, whatever we can do, that's what we're going to do. And of course, we got the small park right next to it. So, you know, we're going to be out there burning fire, have a little bonfire, you know, roast some marshmallows, put some music on, have a little Pan-African consciousness circle. I plan on having a First Mondays for conscious people. You know, you have First Fridays for black bourgeoisies and professionals. We need to have a First Mondays for conscious black folks. If you're conscious and you're looking for a place to just build with other conscious people, that's what the Nat Turner John Jacques Dessalines Gymnasium will be used for. So as soon as we get that HVAC in, I'm calling the city of Wilmington, license and inspection, and I'm asking them the question, our gym is ready. Can we operate?
Yeah.
You know, I'm asking them straight from the gate. We ready to go because everything else in the gym is good, Baba. The painting is done. The flooring is done. You know, the carpet is laid. The bathrooms are working. The gym was never really vandalized that badly anyway. HVAC was really the big problem. So, you know, after October the 2nd, after Nat Turner's 222nd, we should be able to roll. Wow. And then when we look at, well, she was 1831, so that'd be 221st birthday, I believe, then. And so, and then when we get the school's HVAC done, Baba, once they put it on the roof and tie it in, they still got to do some troubleshooting because the school's HVAC is a lot more complicated than the gym's HVAC. It's a much bigger system. It's about 60,000 pounds, Baba. 60,000 pounds. So we got to get the crane. We got to block the street off, and that big crane got to come. That heavyweight crane got to lift that thing up. Take off the old one. That one's 60,000 pounds. Wow. And then put the new replacement 60,000 pounds up there. And then once they tie it in, Baba, we then got to see if everything inside the school is working. You know, are the VAVs working? Is the air retractor and the air pushers working? It looked like everything good, but they still got to test it all out because it's computerized. The small school's HVAC unit is computerized. But I say all that to say this, Baba. Once the HVAC is done, we are 80% done. The HVAC is the big piece. Once that HVAC in that school is up, we 80% done, Baba. I can almost feel the finish line.
I can see it.
Once that heating and cooling is running, Baba, it's just a bunch. We just got to get our fire water checked out. We got to get our sprinkler system checked out, and I think they're perfectly fine. It's looking real good, Baba.
Yeah.
It took us 3.5 years to find us the HVAC company. I tried to use black folks. We have to use Caucasians because our people just wasn't up for the job. The responsibility wasn't there. The integrity wasn't there. The pricing wasn't there. You know, so we are using Caucasians, but we can't wait forever. 3.5 years is too long for us to get to this point. But we're here now. And when I look at Saturday, Baba, the festival, September the 10th, you know that's the full moon in Pisces coming in at 6 o'clock.
What?
And that's the start of the fashion show. The fashion show closes out the festival, and the fashion show begins at 6, and the full moon in Pisces is at 6.
Wow.
You know, Pisces is about dreaming. It's about imagination. It's about ancestral communication, psychic power. So I'm looking at that date. That's also the date that Guinea Bissau became independent. It's the date that Muhammad Ali became the first heavyweight fighter to gross $5 million at a fight when he became the 3-time heavyweight champion. It's also the date when Alexander Crummell, one of the great Pan-Africanists, forefathers of Pan-Africanism, who was W.E.B. Du Bois' mentor, who was the first black man to get a degree from Cambridge University in England, and he was also the first black man in America to create a professional intellectual association for black men, the American Negro Academy. W.E.B. Du Bois was a member, and he spent 20 years in Liberia, and he was a principal just like me. He died on September the 10th, 1898. So I'm just looking at all the September the 10th, and I'm looking at this full moon in Pisces, and I really believe that Saturday is going to be a pivotal day for the shifting of energy as it relates to the liberation of our people and the completion of FDMG Academy.
Well, I'm a Pisces.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be there.
That's your full moon, Baba.
And I'll be right there, shining brightly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll be shining brightly with my FDMG attire on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Make sure you don't wait forever to get there, you know, because the giveaways are while supplies last. We're going to try to have as many as we can, but they are while supplies last. The T-shirts, you know, the bags, the mugs, the visor hats, you know, the wristbands, the hand sanitizer bottles, everything, the red, black, and green flags, everything is while supplies last. The food, so please go make sure Oh, please don't wait till to the last minute. We got a lot of strong vendors coming out again. ACAS is going to be vending. Mama Atiola is going to be vending with her, exquisite vegan cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
We got books, we got cosmetics, we got artwork, we got the FDMG marketplace. We have some fabulous performers too, Baba. Don't miss Michael Jackson in person. You don't want to miss the Michael Jackson show, Baba. We got Brother Rico from Chicago. He's a professional Michael Jackson impersonator. He's going to do the whole medley of Michael Jackson hits. You're going to think it's Michael, brother. He even looks like.
What time is he coming on? You think,
the Michael Jackson concert is going to be right after I speak, I believe, 4 o'clock.
Okay, because you're on at 3:30, right?
I'm on at 3:30, and then I think I'm on at 4, and he's on at 4:30.
Okay. Oh, you got to take more than half an hour, I know. If you're there by 4, you won't miss it. If you're there by 4, you don't miss it. It's going to be the Michael Jackson concert, and then it's going to be the Universal African Dance and Drum Ensemble, and then it'll be the fashion show. We also got the Gil Scott Heron Band. We also got a violinist. We also got the RBG Girls. They're a real powerful young sister group out of New York City, managed by their mothers. They rap and everything. It's powerful. They was there last year. You might remember them. We also got a drill team from Delaware that's going to do their thing on the drums. And then we also have a couple spoken word artists. We have a brother who's going to dance on skates. He has a whole skate dancing routine. We got some powerful stuff lined up, Baba. Powerful performance. Wow, it sounds. I'm excited. I really enjoy seeing the Universal African Dance and Drum Ensemble every time. They never get old to me. Robin and Wanda Dickinson with their crew, I see them a million times, and it never gets old. They always exciting.
And don't forget, Baba, we have the children's games right across the street in the Boys and Girls Club Park. They were so gracious to allow us to use their park. So bring your children. The purpose of the children's games is to not only give our young people something to do, Baba, but also we want to return them to the old school games we grew up on, to get them off the internet, off the social network, off the video games. In other words, we do the potato sack race. We do the egg and the spoon race, the apple challenge. We do shoot the basketball and relay racing and beanbag competition and horseshoe. A lot of fun games. The children loved it last year, and they get tickets, Baba, and they turn them in for rewards like hoverboards, iPads, a lot of nice rewards. So bring your children. Our festival is a child-friendly festival. We also have T-shirts for the children as well. But like I said, don't get there too late because everything is while supplies last.
I know I'm going to get there earlier, so I might be there before you get there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to be there real early. And, I really enjoy, I don't know if you saw the Facebook post that I had, but I posted some pictures from last year's festival on Facebook. And it was some really exciting pictures, and I'm expecting to get some really exciting images again this year, even better, than last year, because I'm really, really excited about this. Now, I saw Michael Jackson.
Anybody who's a photographer, bring the cameras. Bring the still shot cameras. I don't think we're going to let folks tape the thing, because we had some coons, Bob and David, that came last year and were filming, but they were filming for negativity, footage to try to attack me in the festival. Somebody sent me a text right before I called into the show this evening. Good sister from New York who's going to be coming down with Mama Ya Asantewa. If you live in New York or Connecticut or North Jersey and you need a way to get to the festival Saturday, Queen Mother Ya Asantewa, the new Black Panther Party and the African Nationalist Pioneer Movement, Carlos Cook, she's bringing a tour bus. So all you have to do is text me, and I will text you the phone number to Queen Mother. So again, if you're in Connecticut, North Jersey, New York City, New York State, and you want to get on the bus to come down to the festival, all you have to do is call Queen Mother Ya, and you can text myself for her information at 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858.
And even next year, if you don't do buses and I don't do buses, they can do a bus from New York and stop in Philadelphia, pick up, and go on to Wilmington.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. Now that you mentioned that, Baba David, you just gave me a whole nother idea now, Baba, because now I'm thinking with that stop idea.
That's right.
I could have a bus come from Virginia, stop in D.C., stop in Baltimore.
Yeah, all right.
I can have one come from Boston, stop in Hartford, Connecticut, stop in Newark, stop in New York, keep coming. So you just gave me an idea where I can get more folks come, set up the hotel accommodation.
There you
that
go.
way they just pay a flat price for the round trip and the hotel. So
I was actually looking for a hotel in the Wilmington area.
Oh, it's plenty of. You got 3 main areas where you can stay at. And this information is good for anybody making the trip and coming in Friday night or staying over Saturday night. You got the Brandywine section, Bob. Now, the Brandywine section is where you have most of your restaurants and your shopping malls. And the way you get to the Brandywine section from FDMG is you turn left at the corner of our block. That very corner where the red, black, and green door is, you turn left, and at the very next street, you turn left again. A left and a left. Go straight up. Within 10 minutes, you're going to start seeing all the hotels, restaurants, and shopping malls you can handle.
Wow.
It's that simple. Literally a left and a left. Now, that's Brandywine. It's for people who like to go Red Lobster, Olive Garden, Fridays, Texas Longhorn. You know, if you want to go to the movies, shopping, everything's on Brandywine. If you want to stay downtown, now downtown Wilmington, that's your historic district for people who just like to study architecture. They want to look at, you know, the historical markers of who lived here. You know, Thomas Garrett, Harriet Tubman's main benefactor, you know, his house is down there. They might want to go see that. You know, his gravesite at the old Quaker Cemetery. You got a lot of black history because of the Underground Railroad. So for folks who are history buffs, they want to go to the library, the Historical Association, then they can stay downtown Wilmington, and they have a whole bunch of hotels down there. And then the other place is by the shipyard. By the shipyard, Baba, is where the waterfront is. So for people who don't want a lot of activity, you don't want to be downtown, and you don't want to be in Brandywine with all the hotels and supermarkets and shopping malls, then you want to stay in the shipyard area. That's right on the river, very quiet. They got about 4 hotels over there. If you're somebody who just like to walk outside and sit by the water, you want to be in the shipyard area.
All right, because I was looking at that. I said, I might find me a hotel over there and just stay the whole time for the festival and then just don't have to drive so far back home. It really ain't far at all anyhow, but I'm just saying, you know, when I finish a very exhilarating day, I like to just go to my spot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great, man. I'm really. So now I saw a Michael Jackson review when I was in Jamaica, and this guy, if you close your eyes, I'm wondering if it's the same person. Could be. Wow. Because you said your guy's from Chicago.
Chicago, and he looks just like Michael Jackson. Literally, physically, looks just like same height, same weight, same hairstyle, everything. It might be the same person.
Could be. Because I would hire him if I had a Jamaica resort. I'd hire him because he had a wonderful show that he put on. I'm telling you, it was like you looking at Michael Jackson performing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So now you say you have some room for
getting married, Bob Davis.
You say you get married again?
2 beautiful queens. This time it's going to be an African theme. It's going to be an African theme, but it's going to be 2 beautiful queens once again. So we just want everybody to know it's a wedding fashion show. It is not a real wedding. I do not know who. Just like last year, I do not know who the 2 queens are going to be until I see them come out.
Yeah. And it was hilarious. Last year, people had so much to say about, oh, look at him. He married 2 women. They can't even see that it was a promotional thing. It wasn't even you get mad. Because
Black Enterprise did a story. Ebony did a story. I said to myself, Baba, y'all never did a story on me saving black children.
Wait a minute, they did a story on you getting married twice? I mean, to 2 women?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
They did a story. Yes, they did. Black Enterprise and Ebony. I couldn't believe it.
Wait a minute. Well, how could they put out a true or untrue story? They didn't do no research?
No research at all. You know, slander and sensationalism.
Wow. You would think that a reputable magazine like those 2 would have at least called you to get a comment.
Absolutely.
Hey, David. How you doing? Ernest from Kensington.
Hey, Ernest. How you doing, man?
I called to apologize to Umar, Dr. Umar, rather, for doubting him, and I'm very proud of him for restoring his name because I didn't like the way the conversations in the community was going. I was very disappointed, but I'm glad that he restored his credibility by making the school happen.
Now, out of curiosity, Ernest, what was it that you didn't like before?
Well, a lot of people were saying things, like, he takes the money for himself. And, I really think Dr. Umar should be the school district of Philadelphia's superintendent.
No.
The brother is bad.
But he would be powerless in the school district. This brother got all the power. He has autonomy.
Somebody who cares for the children.
That is true, but not him, because they ain't gonna give him that much power.
They're not ready for him.
Not even. But you know what, Ernest? I'm glad that you mentioned it. That's the reason why I asked you what was it about. Because just today on Facebook, I saw this person was talking about Dr. Umar is. They say, why would I give Dr. Umar so much airtime? He's a con artist, and I had to write back. I said, well, how can you substantiate that he is a con artist? Can you give me one person's name that he has conned? I say, can you substantiate that, or is that just speculation? And that's what you did. You took speculation from what people were saying, but not from what you knew firsthand.
Exactly. So we didn't know which way he was going, but now I feel like comfortable to defend him because I know Dr. Umar for a long time. I know of him for a long time. So therefore, when somebody's saying something negative, it makes me feel bad because the brother is intelligent, he's passionate. He cares for the community, and like I said, I personally apologize for being involved with doubting him.
That's very big of you, Ernest. That is very big of you.
Well, that's me, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I really want to apologize to him, and I want him to keep up the good work, and in any way I can. He knows it. I'm there for him.
That's great. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate that, brother Ernest. Appreciate that, man. This speaks to the self-hatred of African people, Baba. We don't need any proof to believe something foul about somebody. We don't need no proof. I don't need no proof. Gossip is enough for me to believe something foul. But in order to believe something good, we require unlimited proof. Unlimited proof. Every time you say something good about Baba David, I need more proof that he's good. I need more proof. This is not enough. I need more proof. But let me say something bad about Baba David. They will run with it. They don't need no proof at all.
Yes, indeed. Yes, how well I know that.
Do you believe that if teachers got paid more, that they would probably put in more effort with...
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I agree with what he's saying because it's not about that you pay them. It's the fact that what are they going to teach us, no matter how much you pay them? If they're in a corrupt system, what are they going to do? Be a well-paid corrupt teacher?
Well, see, here's the thing. When you're dealing with helping professions, nurses, teacher workers, therapists, psychologists, when you're dealing with helping professions, your quality of work is based on your care for your client or your customer. No amount of money is going to alter the way you feel about the population you're helping. So to pay white women, who are most teachers in America, white women, to pay them more money to do a better job teaching black children is not going to lead to them doing a better job, because money is not going to change how they fundamentally feel about black children. See, the helping professions do not lend themselves as easily to being influenced by income. If you pay a basketball player more money, he may try harder. Football player more money, he may try harder. Trash truck driver, electrician, they may try harder because their work is not about saving people's lives. But when your job is about helping a human being achieve, if you have to be paid to do a better job, you should not even have that job. So the whole idea of paying a teacher to do better automatically insinuates that you know they can do better, that they know that they can do better, and they are intentionally withholding a quality education from a child because they're not making good money. That is not somebody I want in front of my child at all.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer.
Thank you. Are you a teacher?
No, it's just something that I just wondered because I listen to Dr.UMAR all the time about, that public school education system is, not for us. And so, when I hear a lot of the counter arguments about what the teachers are going through and this benefit, I just wonder, what his take was. Can I ask two more questions?
Sure.
One, also, Dr. UMAR, I wanted to get your take. What's your opinion, and I know it's definitely a no, but when physical altercations happen between students and teachers, one of the things I feel as though perhaps I don't hear you talk about enough is, and I've seen it when I've went to school, and it's a lot worse in a lot of schools nowadays, but the lack of respect that some students can have for teachers and physical altercations that can come about. What do you think a teacher, what rights do you think a teacher should, can have or can do when it comes to students being rude and unruly and even causing some harm to them? What's your take on that?
Couple things. Number one, relationships are transactional. We impact the way people treat us. They impact the way we treat them. So there's no such thing as the teacher as victim. The question becomes, what type of energy are you giving to those children for them to give you that type of energy in return? Mm-hmm. One of the things I always teach teachers when I do my behavioral modification and classroom management training, it is very difficult for a child to disrespect the teacher they know care about them. It's very difficult. It is almost the worst behaved child will have a little bit of anxiety and guilt about disrespecting a teacher who they know cares about them. Mm-hmm. The point that I'm making is the reason children are able to disrespect teachers so freely is because those teachers did not take the time to build a personal connection with every child in their classroom. Mm-hmm. In other words, the child know that you're here to get paid. You're here to pay your bills. You do not care about me. This is just an exercise in economics. You are not invested in my future success at all. And that's why they act the way that they act.
Mm-hmm.
People act how they are treated. Mm-hmm. There's been a million studies that proved, from prison inmates to classroom children, even in the animal kingdom, if you create a certain context and if you treat people a certain way, they will respond to that context and to your treatment. Mm-hmm. Teachers are not innocent. They create the atmosphere that gives rise to the disrespect that they receive. But because white women are privileged, they're never held responsible for how they disrespect black kids. We always hear about how black kids disrespect the white women.
And the point I wanted to make is, she talked about if there's an altercation between the student and the teacher, and I was saying, and just think what they try to do, put guns in all the teachers, trying to arm all the teachers, and if you have a conversation,
some states have.
What?
Some states have passed the law. Teachers are allowed to carry guns.
Right, and so what happens when that teacher gets into an altercation? Did they going to shoot the student in self-defense?
Absolutely. You're now going to get teacher genocide instead of police genocide. First thing you can do is give a white teacher a gun in a black school.
Yeah, because the student's going to get confrontational.
Just like the police, those white teachers will kill all these innocent black kids, but when the white mass murderer comes into the school, they probably won't shoot at all.
Okay, Carl, you had one more question you say you had?
Yes, and final question.
Yes.
So, Dr. UMAR, I know you plan to... You're going to record your documentary in the Maryland, D.C. area. I didn't know if you may have had your dates that you plan to finish your documentary recording.
I don't have the dates. The first thing I have to do is find the interview schedule of the parents that I filmed 3 years ago when we initially started trying to film the documentary. I didn't get that footage from my original videographer, so we're going to have to re-interview those parents. So I have to find their names and numbers, which is something I plan to do right after we get done with the festival Saturday, so we can get down there and get that done. Because once we interview the Maryland and D.C. parents, we're done with the interviews, and then I just now have to go through all the footage and pick and choose what I want in the final cut, and then we have to do all of my filming, my material, because I'm the narrator, so I have to connect all the stories and all the testimonials together. And I can tell you, we got some powerful stuff. The documentary, without question, will be a shockumentary. And one thing you don't know, Bob and David, I just filmed my first movie, a Black Love movie in Cleveland, Ohio, a couple of days ago. It should be coming out later this fall or early winter. It's a love story loosely based on my life, and you're going to like it. I'm looking forward to see it. It's my first time acting, so I look to get some feedback from everybody. So we got two films coming out, the shockumentary and the Black Love movie. I just call it that because the producer has not yet named it.
Wow, that's nice. Because a lot of people would think that you're not entitled to love.
I know. It's hard to find black love though on the war trail, because it's a very personal walk. It's an individual walk.
Yes.
And on a certain level, you don't want other people's lives to be put at risk for what you're calling.
That's right.
In other words, this is my calling. And although I believe all black people should be willing to fight for African liberation, it would be unfair to me to expect them to do what I do because this is my mission, not theirs. So it's a balance of, it's a lonely road. It is a lonely road. And only those who will stay sincere are those who are committed and actually believe they were born to do this walk, because I can see where the sellouts come from. I can actually see it because you sacrifice and you lose so much when you fight for black people. And then you're also fighting for people who don't want to be fought for and will forget you the day after you die. I mean, you look at Malcolm, you look at King, how we really didn't look out for their families.
That's right.
Children.
That's right.
And that's why the children of revolutionaries, many of them, you always get one or two who stick to their mother or father's vision. But most of the children do not go as hard as their parents did because they saw firsthand, how the community did not appreciate the sacrifices that their parents made. So when you get into this work, you do it because it is your life, it is your mission, it is your calling. You don't do it to be appreciated at all. If you're doing this to be appreciated by black folks, you're in the wrong profession.
For real.
Good afternoon or good evening to you, Dr. Johnson. Based on your experience with some of the workers who did not perform as they should have or could have with the school, is there needed work to improve the black work ethic of our businesses? Not saying all our businesses are, and considering there are a lot of good black businesses out there, but is there a need to increase the performance level of some of our black businesses? Is that something that needs to be addressed in the black community?
This is another sad contradiction within the black community. And this is the contradiction between black businesses who say they don't get supported and black businesses who don't treat their customers right. So you have black contractors who say they get overlooked for white folks. But we have had multiple black contractors who did not do the job they were paid to do, who scammed us, robbed us, did a horrible job, so forth and so on. So what we need is a change in attitude towards each other. That's what needs to happen. The way black contractors treated FDMG is only a symptom. It's only an example of a larger problem where black people don't value black people. When we get a black customer, we automatically think we can take advantage of them. We automatically think we don't have to be accountable to them. I've seen it. I have seen it. It's almost like it's impossible. It was almost impossible for the black contractors to honor their contract. It was impossible. They could not do it because I was a young black man. If I was a young white man, they would have did that job. It would have been no issue. So what we need is a revolution in how we appreciate one another. That's what we need.
And I think that
the cause is the same. The same reason we're killing each other is the same reason black contractors can't respect the black people who hire them. We don't respect African life.
Yeah, I often say that we, as the contractors, they need to stop looking at black people like they're black people. Treat me and do my job like you think I'm a white person. We have to stop thinking, well white people are going to cheat them, so I'm going to cheat them too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the white guy who's about to put the HVAC units in, you know, the price he gave us was a pretty decent price.
Mm-hmm.
And the timeline he gave us was a very decent timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that from none of the black HVACers. I didn't been through about 12 black HVACers, and this white dude has given me a better deal than all of them put together.
Yeah. All right, Eric, did you have another question? Because we got to go in a moment.
Oh, yes. I was saying, then Dr. Johnson, then you'll have to deal with the flack of using a white contractor from a lot of your haters, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care about them.
For real, because they use them too.
Exactly.
Well,
They
yeah,
use them too. In fact, they white.
They can do the... Yeah. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you for your participation. Yes, sir. So, Dr. Johnson, before we go off, give us a rundown of the Blacknificent Festival.
Absolutely. Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, first school in American history based on the principles of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism and international economics. We will be at 601 East 17th Street Saturday, September the 10th from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. Food, games, prizes, T-shirts, giveaways, vendors, performers, networking, and, of course, I will be there as well. Brothers and sisters, please go to FDMGfestival.com to register. If you choose to register at the gate, you can do that, but only those who pre-registered online will be able to get the free gifts and the free food. We're looking forward to see everybody. Get there as soon as you can. We have a powerful, powerful lineup of performance. The performers begin at 12 o'clock, so make sure you start coming in at 12 o'clock. Do not miss Michael Jackson live on stage at 4 o'clock, as well as the DrUMAR lecture around the same time. Universal African Dance and Drum Ensemble. Gil Scott Heron Band will be taking the stage at 2 o'clock. So for those of y'all who love live bands, make sure you get there at 2. And you don't want to miss the fashion show, which will culminate in Dr. Umar being married to two beautiful African queens. Who will they be? That's from 6 to 8, and that's our close-out event. Can't wait to see everybody. We're working hard all this week to make it happen for you. Bring the children so they can play the games that we have set up for them. Safe travels to Wilmington, Delaware. Book your hotels before they all sell out, and we will see you Saturday.
Yes, sir. You see, you're certainly going to see me there. I'll be there. And I implore all of you to be there or be square. Thank you so much, Dr. Umar Ifatunde Johnson.
No problem. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Peace, man.